I'm sitting in US, I'm sitting in India. I don't care where is my data center is. Everyone needs. We are impatient now, right? We are impatient, so we need everything fast and predictable. No one likes to see that. I remember when I was a kid, I started using this internet. The website was supposed to look like this, line by line. If there was a picture, it was loading like this, one line, one line, one line, then it's repeated. Oh, so then it's a suspense, what's it's loading, right? But now that is not the case. We need everything fast. So this is a very fast way. So actually they started some R&D into this in 2010 and with NoSQL and all, and then they released this document DB like couple of years back in build only. So it's like 2 years and some few weeks, and they did the GA, General Availability, around 2 years back. Now they introduced on the same research the Cosmos DB, which is using the same scenarios, same results that were come out of the result, that research, but with other kind of databases as well. So coming back to document DB, we can say that it's a predictable performance, high availability, because they are managing your servers. They make sure that they replicate your data, and if there is a geo replication of your data, and plus if one's data center is down, they are doing the routing to the nearest other data center, so that your data is every time it's available. Okay, you don't have to worry about your syncing of the database. If you're managing it yourself, if there is any DBA, you can go to your DBA, how they sync your database, it's a tedious task. If you have multiple instances of your database, syncing your database is a tedious task. But you don't have to worry about it as a developer, just worry about your application project, and they are going to take care about it. And elastic scaling, this is one of the important features. Elastic scaling is, it doesn't matter, today I am designing for 100 users, let's say, tomorrow I can support, I'm something like Pokemon Go, which went viral like anything. Okay? So as a developer of Pokemon Go, I can use this document DB, and it can scale up from 100 users to 10,000 users in minutes, to lakhs of users and millions of users in minutes. You don't have to worry about it. As it's a fully managed service, you only have to pay more with the number of requests you are making to the document DB, but you don't have to worry about adding more servers, adding more infrastructure. Understanding? So it takes that hassle, and as a developer, you can focus on your application logic itself. Because getting your code work is also a very tedious task if the solution is not there on Stack Overflow. Right? So we should focus on that, and instead of the stupid things. And I said, I am saying this again and again, global distribution, and especially focus on ease of development. So it supports multiple languages, Node.js, .NET, Python, Java, all the REST-based services are there, SQL, everything. So now this slide is important if you want to understand document DB. This is document DB in one slide. So whatever you need to know about document DB, and write it in your resume again. This slide, just listen to this slide carefully, ask any question, you will be well versed with document DB. You will be able to understand what is the basic of document DB, then you can get your hands dirty later on. So it gives you simple HTTP RESTful model. You all understand what is REST, right? Post, put, delete. Of course, get as well. As I said, it's there for now the tools or the SDKs. It supports REST as well. So with REST you can talk to it from any language, but there are some tools and SDKs built by the Microsoft, and it supports libraries for Node, .NET, Python, JavaScript. Those are the major players. Now everything is uniquely accessible by a URL. Now each and every record will have a separate URL. How that is going to work, I am going to tell you. So when we create a document DB, we give it an account name. An account name will come here. Let's say my account name is .NET Bangalore. So .NET Bangalore.documents.azure.net DBs. Now, in one account, there can be multiple databases. Understand this point? On the top level, there is what? Account. An account can have multiple databases. Okay? And in one database, we have a thing called collections. Someone asked me a few minutes back how you are going to index that, right? You asked, right? So, for that we use collections. What is the first thing that came to your mind when you heard collection? What is a collection?
Group of similar items.
Group of some items, similar items, different items, but some items. So for the good practices, what you have to do, keep all of one kind of data, okay, let's say customer data, okay, that's here. Then the other kind of data is logistics data. That will be separate collection. So whenever you want to go into the collection data only, okay, or the logistic data, you don't have to worry about the other collection. You can directly say that go into this collection, right? This is how you are doing the partition. But
sort of like the schema that we had in the SQL.
no. So schema is like schema is fixed. This is not fixed. Everything can happen in a collection, but collection is like a logical collection of one kind of resource. You can say people who, let's say a company, okay, people who are working on one project, and all the records will come here. Then another collection is HR. Okay, there is no HR, right? Users peoples. Okay. Another collection can be IT people. Again, users. Then another can be Python developers. Another can be .NET developers. So they are different set of people with different skill sets, but they are collectively into one collection. So you can put them in a different collection. Depends upon your requirement. This is just one example of it. Then inside that there is document. Now this document is actually your record.
It's only a single record or it's a collection of records?
It's one record. This document is one record. See, this, can you see this one? This is all the data related to one person, right? So this is related to football team 2, right? So all the data related to football team 2 is one document for me. This is how exactly how it's going to save in my database in the form of JSON.
So document is a collection of key values, is it? Can you say that?
You can say that.
I mean, then
Document.
what is the difference? Like key value pair also you have in a similar manner.
Okay. So key value will be basically in the form of table. It can or it cannot be. But this is like every in the key value you have one key and the associated value with multiple things. But in document everything is together in a document base. What is a document? Whenever you heard document, what is one thing that came to your mind?
Actually, that slide confused me. I mean, circle chart. Before. This one.
This one. Yes.
So key value pair is also
Yes.
described there, and so is this one.
Yes. So key value pair, I will do one thing. I will show you how does a key value pair stores.
Because that's how MongoDB works. Key value pair.
MongoDB works in key value pair. Yes. But if you are seeing MongoView or any other tool, they shows in the form of tables as well. Okay. So it's not a relational tables, but it's a table. It's a structure.
Together it becomes a document only, right?
Yes.
But it is not document. It is.
No, it's not document. So that's why what MongoDB this document DB provides is directly access. You can move your MongoDB data to a document-based data. Don't have to make any changes. Let's say if you have a MongoDB data, it's like how they are storing, but the data would be same, right? You can directly migrate your MongoDB data into DocumentDB. I'm going to make it quick now. I only see 5 minutes and I have a lot to cover. Once I cover, you can ask your questions, okay? So collections, as I told you, it is basically partition for scaling out. Partition, I told you that one form of data, one form of collection would be in one like IT, depths and all. Now it gives you granular access control to level permission. Someone asked me, I mean, in SQL we can have the granular level permissions and we can assign more users and all, right? You can do that here as well. As every record is separately accessible, you can have a level of permission up to one record. There is RBAC. RBAC means role-based access control. Okay. Based on your level of role, whatever role is assigned to you, you can view, you can create more database, you can create more records, you can delete records, or no, depends on whatever the permissions you want to assign to a developer. The attachments are like video files, audio files, images. If you want to associate some images with one document, let's say my document will have my picture. Okay, so I want to save that in the form of attachment. You can use the Azure blobs. How many of you know what is blob? Binary large objects, right? So it can store your pictures, videos, and all kind of data. It gives you T-SQLite programmability. When I say T-SQLite, you can use stored procedures. You know what is stored procedures?
Yeah.
Perfect. You know what is triggers?
Yes.
Everyone knows?
Yes.
Okay. You know what is UDF? User defined functions? I'm not going to spend time on that. And then customer can buy and throughput capacity at account level. So on the account level, the throughput is basically how many users you want to serve at one time. Based on your throughput, your cost will be calculated. Okay. So when you talk about pricing, you have to pay for two things. One is the data that is stored, which is like very cheap. Okay. It's like 0.25 per G, $0.25 per GB. Okay. And for throughput, you have minimum of 400. Minimum you need your database, your account need to have 400 throughput, and for that you need to pay around $9 roughly. I don't remember the exact figures because they keep on changing the pricing. And when I say change, they are only decreasing it. And with $9 per 100, so 400 would be 9 into 436 something. So minimum per month expense would be 36 to $37. And maximum is how much you are increasing. How much throughput you are increasing, that way you are going to scale out. If you have more number of users, you need to scale out. As I told, all the data is stored in the JSON format, right? You understood this is one document. So now we talk about what is account, what is database, collection, document ID, attachment ID. Any questions here?
If I want to query to a letter, say there are like two employees, and say one is like say married and one is not married. So all the like married people I wanted to like list it out. So how do you query and get?
Okay, so he is asking about the querying part in a NoSQL. We can do that, I will show you. Give me just 2 minutes more, I am going to jump onto that part very quickly and show it to you. So, this is how the resources are associated. On the top I told you it's account. In account there can be multiple databases. In one database there can be multiple collections, and in one collection there can be multiple documents. This document is the actual record. Whatever you have in rows, okay, select star from employee, join this, whatever that comes with one data, one record, this is one document. Understood? Attachments will be assigned, part of this. So it will be attached to this document. So let's say attachment is my photograph. It will be stored in the blob, but it will be added here in one document in my record. So talking about the query, yes.
Can these databases be any type of database? Like it could be a key value or a graph or RDBMS?
For what?
In the previous slide, you showed a bunch of databases, right?
This one?
Yeah.
No. This is for document DB only. In Cosmos DB you can have multiple things.
Oh, but these are all document databases.
These are not document DB. This is just the hierarchy of the database. Excuse me. Someone said it's clear.
This side.
Yeah, he's asking this one.
If I compare NoSQL with SQL scale it has everything scheme and all the let us suppose in a table you know that columns are available and if you know its scale, its place and format. Now if I am querying if I know its scale and if the specific property is not available and in the application it will provide its statement and you are converting to the place and format.
So you are saying.
Let us suppose employee table only.
So just one second. So his question is, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I misunderstood your question as well. So his question is, let's say one few of the records has one property and another has one non-property. And if I query it now, like is married. Okay. If I query now is married, so what's going to happen? It's going to throw any exceptions? No. That is the beauty of NoSQL. One can have as much of data and another can have as little data as possible. I am not married.
No, the married column itself is not there in the JSON.
Yes.
You are telling the collection part.
Yes.
In the collection itself, that property itself is not there.
Yes.
For one record.
Yeah.
And means in the collection means it will be.
It will show you empty. If that property does not exist in any of the record. Let's say you are saying is married only. Okay. I mean, is married is not there in any of my document, any of my record. It's going to be an empty record, empty array. Understood? Because that query ran successfully, but it was not able to find any matching record. It's going to give you an empty array. So quickly, I am running out of time. So quickly, I am going to tell you what is this. We can run this select from where. From the SQL word, you understand what is this select star from where, right? Okay. You can run this having an order by, having this order by date, order by anything. Okay. And it also gives, because it's a distributed database, it gives you option to search distance between this and within this. Tell me whatever are my who are my users between Bangalore and Mysore. Okay, you can do those kind of queries as well. Now quickly what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how does it look on the Azure portal, how to create a one and how to do a simple CRUD operations. Perfect? Are you clear till now?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Can I ask one question?
Yes.
This was the only question I wanted to ask.
Has a question.
Yeah.
Regarding data type,
Huh?
as we are storing in a document, so what about the data types? As you showed databases, different kind of databases, so it's based on resource base.
I didn't understood your question.
I got on slide that you showed us two databases, again divide to collections like this. So database is based on resource name.
Database is based on
resource, suppose admin or suppose user.
database can be anything, one kind of data, whatever you need to have.
Suppose then inside this file, whatever the data will come in the JSON format.
Let's say you want to have one database for admins. Okay. Suppose one more database for client. Whatever detail related to client, you want to have a separate database altogether.
Correct.
Then in one account only there would be multiple databases. One would be admin, one would be client, one would be IT, something of that sort. But further you want to go, you want to categorize them. Okay, let's say I'm a service-based company. I have one database called clients. All my clients are there. Then I will have a collection called Python. So whomsoever is taking service from me for Python is one collection. Okay. Now another collection would be .NET. Then another collection should be unknown.js, for example. Okay. Then inside that one client, all the details related to that client would be one document.
So now in that document, suppose I have given data in JSON format. Data type of each data, suppose integers.
Data type. Yeah.
Data type, that thing comes into the picture in NoSQL.
Yes, you have to mention the data type. So give me 2 minutes. I'm going to show you, and then if you have still this doubt, I'm going to explain. Okay. So before I go there, I want to tell you about there is a GitHub open source tool. It's called DocumentDB Studio. It's nothing but basically a client where you can go and interact with your DocumentDB directly. You can do it from the Azure portal as well. but here as well, built on the top of .NET and it's open source. So this is how a typical Azure portal looks like. Now what I have to search, what I have to create, can someone tell me and get a Azure pass?
Meetup document, meetup resource group,
Huh?
document, account, DB,
Cosmos DB. Yes. You want Chicky as well? Can you pass it on, please? So what I have to do, I have to add a new Cosmos DB account. I will say create. What do you want me to name it? What's your name, sir?
Sort of.
Solar work.
You were mentioning like couple of days back in the build they were introduced this.
Yes,
Cosmos DB.
yes. This weekend, last weekend only it was built, right? 10 days back, I guess. So then only they introduced this Cosmos DB.
So before that it was called as document DB. Right?
Document DB is still there, but they moved it as a part of Cosmos DB. So yeah. So more features are added. Graph, key value were there in the Azure storage. They moved it here, and then they added this thing, column base, and they are adding more kind of databases support as well. Whatever open source world are using, they are supporting and putting into one umbrella. This umbrella is called Cosmos DB. Sorry. See.
So any point of time if you would like to use it, you need a Azure subscription.
Yes, that's why I am distributing this. So as you can see, I'm getting 4 options here right now. These 4 are supported. In the future, it's going to add more. They are working on it, but right now, only 4 are supported. These 4 are Gremlin, which is a graph. Okay, MongoDB. Everyone have heard about MongoDB. SQL in the form this is a document DB. Don't get confused. They are calling it SQL. Yes. So because it supports only T-SQL and all, that's why. And key value, the table storage. So someone asked me about table storage as well. Once I've done this, I will show you how a table stores the key value stores as well. Okay. So quickly, I'm going to create. I'm going to host it into East US. I will say pin to database. Create. How many of you have watched a cookery show before? Khana Khajana. Sanjeev Kapoor. You have watched? Raise your hands. Okay. So we are going to do something like that. I have already pre-cooked some of the things. So this is how we create, but I have already created one database. So it's going to take another 2-3 minutes to create. I don't want to go with this loading sign. So I'm going to jump onto what I have already created and show you.
Can I ask you?
Yes.
Can you show that we can embed the documents and also we can keep the collection?
Yes.
What is the things we should think at the time of design that we put this entity in the collection or property or in the separate?
So that is what one of the benefits of NoSQL.
Yeah.
Okay, that is because you are not clear about when you are starting developing the application, you are not clear what is going to be there by the time you finish it. Okay, and finishing is a never-ending process. Okay, so if something you ask me that how do we use the best practices or what is that, how you are going to design. So design is whatever you think right now is correct, put it that way. I'm giving you, this is a real-time experience that I'm giving you.
Okay.
You can read about it, but this is the real time. Whatever initially when you are designing, think about it in the form of corrections. Whatever you can make into one correction, okay, and then design it that way. All the one kind of related data would be in one correction. Okay, because how they store all the one correction would be in one server actually. When they partition it, they are doing it on your behalf. You don't have to do it, but when they do it, when Microsoft does it, they put one correction into one server, another correction into one server. So whenever you are querying, they already knows which server to query. They will have an application of those servers, but they will know which server they have to query. Otherwise, you have to jump. If you have 10,000 records, you have to query all 10,000 records, right? This is the benefit. If you already know, then put it into that kind of correction. This for scaling out, correction is important. You need to have that kind of understanding. But even if you're not, you will get a hit on the performance, but your application will work. That you don't have to worry about. You don't have to change your code. Okay.
Correction should be generic or non-generic?
What?
Correction should be generic or non-generic?
Generic.
Should be same generic. Like all the things should be same.
Yeah. One kind of. Correction is good for correction of correction is what, think of this as a college class or a school class. All the people who are in the same grade sits in the one class, right? Third, then they move to fourth, right? They are similar people, similar age group. They sit in another same class. That is one of the example of correction. No, no, it's not a table. It's a correction. Correction means this is the correction of .NET developers. Whatever people are sitting, but how you are sitting? You are sitting randomly. And you are one person as an entity. You have your own characteristics. He has his own characteristics. We don't have the same characteristics. Like someone has a kid, someone doesn't have a kid, right? Someone is married, someone is single or bachelor. So,
But if you change the data types, then boss members and changes will come back.
so if you change the data types, the records which are already there, it's going to be there.
But when I retrieve the data,
Yes, it's going to fail.
previously it was fake. Now I was counted to use it.
Though it's going to fail.
Automatically it will crash.
Fail. You have to handle it.
Guys, I think we, sorry to interrupt, but it would be good if we can take this offline since we are getting quite delayed.
Yeah.
I think there's a demo also.
Yeah, there is a small demo. I will complete that in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And after that, we can take it offline. Whatever question you have, I can sit here and answer all your questions. But whomsoever wants to do, they can go as well. And they have some fun activity planned as well.
We have a fun activity planned and we are giving away goodies. So, in the interest of giving away goodies, maybe you can you guys can choose. Yeah.
So in the quick start, you can see there are some people table. What I am going to do, I am quickly running out of time, so I will not waste time. I had this test one. So see, I have this one document DB account. Okay, this data is right now at one data center, East US. I hosted it in East US. I can do this global applications, replicate data globally. Okay, I said just click on this. I said yes. West India, I want one in India as well. East Asia, here. I said yes, save it. The moment I click on save, it will start replicating my data into different data centers. As simple as that. Okay. It's going to cost me money, so I'm not going to do that. We are Indians, we save money whenever we can.
Just one quick question. So whenever you save some data, edit some data, it gets replicated in all the servers simultaneously.
Yes. And they are going to take care of all the syncing and everything. You don't have to worry about it. Okay. So 1 minute, give me 1 minute. And then this is the correction. Right now, I have one database called, it went in, sorry. I have a database called ToDoList. I've set up is throughput as 400, which is the minimum for the demo purpose. I can increase it anytime with a click of a button. And then I've used the present as standard. So I can have multiple databases here. This is one account. I can have multiple databases, and in one database I can have multiple corrections. Okay, this is how easy. Okay, it's going to ask you how much storage capacity you want to give, how much throughput you want to give. You understand what is the throughput, right?
Yes.
Okay. What is going to be a partition key? You understand what is a partition key? An ID, a uniquely ID. Okay. ID, let's say. So it's going to create it for me. When I refresh, you can do it from here or from your code as well. So Microsoft gives you all the REST APIs and the SDKs to create your collection from your code dynamically and put more documents in your collection. Now, what I've done, I have one sample application. What I have done, I have gone to this Quick Start and downloaded this